Oh, hello. For the last couple months, I've been working on a project. It's a spec project for A24, and I've had a lot of fun with it. I'm pretty happy with it. It's one of my favorite personal projects I've ever worked on. It stretched me in different ways. I got to try out a lot of new tools, and one of the tools being Dehancer. It's how I colored it. So I thought it would be fun to walk through the project and show you what I did, and then at the end of it all, show you what the final product is. So let's get to it. Okay, so right here you can see my timeline. You can see I have a 30-second, a 60-second, and a 45-second. The 45-second is my personal favorite. And this is a project that I was inspired to do because, one, I love A24. When I wanted to make a spec project, I was trying to figure out, like, what can I afford to do? A few years ago, I won a A24 competition, which if you don't know what A24 is, it's the membership program that A24 has that if you pay 10 bucks a month, you get free tickets to every movie premiere that they do. You do giveaways and all discounts on merch, exclusive member merch, all that sort of jazz. And I've loved it. I've been a founding member and it's a lot of fun. But when I was trying to think of like spec work I wanted to make, I tried to think, well, what do I have a lot of already? What do I have to spend the least amount of money on to be able to make this thing actually happen? And I have a plethora of A24 stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll try to do a A24 commercial. I don't think they have anything like that. I think that would be kind of fun to do. So that's what I did. So I made this pitch deck for this idea and I got a lot of people interested in helping me do it. And one of the selling points that got people interested in like doing this project for free was the fact that this pitch deck clearly stated the idea and that they knew that the time they were going to be putting into it was going to be worth it because everything was very well visualized beforehand and communicated. So if I have any tips for that, it would be create a really solid pitch deck if you're gonna ask your friends to work for free with you. Because I was pretty intimidated to do that, but it ended up working out really well. Anyways, okay, so we did that. I got a great crew of people with me. This is the commercial I made. These are some of the shots. I'll show it without the colored footage. And yeah, so the idea is this guy is depressed, living a miserable life, and decides to get onto A24. And with each A, visually you hear him go, and when you get to the triple A24, it's like this holy, this is the heavenly option, this is the best option to have. But when you go too far, it's hell. And this is without some of the effects on too that I worked on, but yeah, it's terrible, it's miserable, it's just complete hellfire. That's why you want to go back to triple A24. All access A24, movie tickets, monthly credits, birthday gift, 10% discount, a few more sales points. Join now at triple A24 or at A24films.com. I made a 60-second version that goes a little bit longer, has some more shots, and then a 30-second version. And if you really wanted to, you can make a 15-second version. So I try to make this versatile. So it all came down to me paying for this project all by myself. Besides the time dedicated from a lot of my friends who dedicated their time and talents to help this project come to pass, like it was completely funded by me. The next step that I ran into after I did the production was, how am I going to get a colorist for this? The thing is, I didn't have enough budget for a colorist. I love working for colorists. I fully believe in hiring colorists whenever you can, but I just didn't have the funds to do that for this project. Luckily, a couple months ago, I was reached out to by Dehancer. Dehancer is a film emulation coloring software that can plug into like Premiere and Final Cut Pro or DaVinci, and you can do film emulation and color grading with it straight into your programs. And I was a little nervous to use it because I'm not that great of a colorist. I don't know that much about all this stuff, but luckily there's a lot of tutorials and videos on there. So I'm gonna give my perspective of how I used it, and I'll show you. Let's check it out. So here's one of the shots that is in the commercial. I really like this shot because I think it's a good starting point for color grading because it shows our actor very clearly. It's got great lighting and shadows. I think this is a good way to color and then make everything else kind of follow suit to how I would color grade this. So if we open up my nodes, the thing I did first, and I turned off the color here, but I'll turn it on right now. So this is the final version of what I colored. But if we go one by one, I like to color things first with white balance, saturation, color temperature, and then I dove into Dehancer. And you pretty much just follow a few steps and you get really nice looking footage. So if I turned off Dehancer, this is what the image looks like. But if I turn it on, this is what it looks like there. So all you do is you go into your source, you put in what your source is. Did you film in Rec 709? Did you shoot in blah, blah, any of these things? Or you could choose camera. For this purpose, I chose Rec 709 because we filmed in Rec 709. We shot this on a Canon C500 Mark II, and we used some really cool lenses that I don't know the name of, but I'll add them here that you could check out. And you could do some adjustments. You can adjust the exposure, the color temperature here, but probably the thing that most people get excited for with using Dehancer is the film emulation. They have a ton of options for what you're going for. And pretty much you just kind of go through and choose whichever one you want, whichever one you feel like represents the vision you have for it. And I think there's maybe some cool color strategies like, oh man, I know exactly what this film looks like. This is the exact film I'm gonna do. That's not how I did it. I'm not that professional. I just chose one that I felt like looked the best for what I wanted to achieve. Afterward, you can look down at so many other options, but I like to look at how much film grain there is in here. Like you could change 65 millimeter, 8 millimeter. I believe for this project, I actually did a mix of 35 and 65, just to show like maybe where his character is a little bit more distraught to where things feel a little bit more clear. You can adjust the halation, so you can see here. You can kind of see his skin gets a little bit softer with the light. And you can check out bloom, film damage. I like to have a little bit of film damage when it's playing, you know, it makes it feel a little bit more like film. And so many more options. It's very easy. I was very pleased with how easy this all was. And man, it really enhanced the project. So like, even if I turn off these nodes, like that's a pretty good image. Nice digital image. But if you want to make this look a little bit more like film, this is like such an accurate way to do it. Boom, boom, boom. I think that just looks great. Plus our actor just looks so good on camera. This is just great stuff. So essentially what I did is I just did this for every shot. Now there's one shot in particular that I think most people are pretty interested in, and it's this shot. This shot I actually did Dehancer off because I was gonna do effects and I didn't want the film grain to be under the effects that I was making. So this is how I colored this shot. And the way we filmed this is we lit the scene as if everything was on fire. So all the lights would trigger and move around like he's on fire. And we shot this a lot of times. I mean, the dude is legit screaming his head off. But yeah, it's lit like everything's on fire and he's screaming. And I knew that there were ways for me to make him on fire. But if that didn't work, I actually did have a backup plan where he's screaming in a black void that I would just mask out and post. I do have that option somewhere. I think it actually makes a cool thumbnail. Okay, but how about enough talk? Let's put this into action. We have a shot that I haven't put Dehancer on yet, but it has all the other settings, or, you know, I just kind of established the shot. I did my white balance, saturation, color temperature, and it looks like a pretty good image. I mean, it's lit well, it's fun to look at. I think there's a lot of depth. We got some good haze going on in there, but we need to enhance the image. I wanna make this look like it was shot in film. So let's go to our effects panel, scroll all the way down to our installed Dehancer. So let's put it onto this node. Okay, it looks kind of crazy right now. Very green, and the reason why it looks so green is because it's the color profile that they chose for this film stock. And again, I'm not the biggest color grader. I don't really know everything that I'm doing. I can go in here and choose my specific camera, and I could select Canon, and I could put in the right stuff, but when I do that, I don't love what I see here. I can change the film, but it's very contrasty, it's a little intense, it's a little harder for me to work with and less true to what I already previously colored. But if I go to Rec 709, which by the way, you can color purely through Dehancer. I like to get things set up in DaVinci before I dive into this. But I go to Rec 709 and I could change the exposure and temperature comp. I'll worry about that later. I think what I need to worry about right now is choosing the right film stock. So let's scroll through. Let's just start playing around with them. Yeah, if you want to have that sort of feel, just go through and look how many there are. There's a ton. I usually immediately start gauging towards Kodak because I'm just familiar with that film, but Fuji's cool too. So why don't we try some Fuji's? It's kind of fun. I can do the push-pull here. I'm not feeling that one. If I wanted to match what I did before, I chose this one. This one just feels more true to what I wanted. It's super grainy too. I think I want to reduce that. Let's check that out, obviously. Actually, it does look kind of nice though. That film grain's a little too powerful. So let's go adjust that. So you can go to 8 millimeter. It's gonna be obviously so film grainy. And if I wanted that sort of look, I'd do it, but I don't want that for this shot. I want this to look a little bit cleaner. Here we go. Check out the bloom on his skin. That's way too much. And yet you can create your own LUTs too. Like let's say, man, I love this look. I want to apply this to other things that I've done. You can create your own LUT by exporting it here. Very convenient. I feel like making LUTs sometimes is kind of a complicated process, so it's nice that it's so simple and all in one place. Yeah, Dehancer is really cool. And it's not just for videos, it's also for photos. Haven't dived into that yet, but for this project, it really worked out for me. I've worked on a lot of projects with professional colorists, and it's so fun to see how they take what I made before and make it so much better. And it was really intimidating to go into this project and do it myself. But with Dehancer, I felt like I was getting close to the level that I would trust a regular colorist with. And who knows, they might be using Dehancer as well behind the scenes. So if you're looking for something that's kind of accessible for the everyday filmmaker to the most professional filmmaker you've ever known in your whole life, Dehancer is a great tool to have in your arsenal. So that's pretty sick. So came the next challenge, was my fire shot. I knew I wanted to get the guy on fire. I reached out to different special effects people to see like, okay, well, what can we work with? Maybe I could try to scrounge around some extra money to pay for this fire effect. But man, it was expensive, and honestly, like I didn't love the effects I was seeing from these special effects people. And you know, a big reason was because fire effects work best when you shoot it practically. And I think that goes for just about everything. So I went and looked around for options. At my full-time job, I've been encouraged to explore AI. And I know AI is a controversial subject that I won't tackle in this video right now, but I will tackle how I used it for this production. There's a company called Higgsfield.ai where they take what you've created and they can add like a special effect to it. So I went onto Higgsfield.ai and I put in a still frame of my shot, and it had a hard time. AI is weird, but I think what really helped this work is that we lit the scene like it was on fire. So we gave this AI software a lot of information with how we lit the scene and how we prepped our actor. He's already screaming. The scene already looks like it's lit and on fire. So I think that their job was pretty easy by making him go on fire. So Higgsfield's kind of cool because they have a lot of different AI settings you could do. You just put in a still image from your footage or photos, and it has already built-in things to help specifically attach that effect to your footage. And they had one for making someone catch on fire. So I did that with this shot. And it came out pretty weird sometimes. Like I wanted them to stop having him put the phone down, and his scream also doesn't match the way he actually screams in the footage. But look at how impressive this is. Like they even had the picture frame reflect the fire. Oh yeah, wait, that was just weird. That was not what I asked it to do. Look at the picture frame. It's just so crazy. Yeah, it's actually kind of cool and pretty scary. But I think for the purpose of a spec project and for someone who like doesn't have a lot of money to put towards these things, this worked out pretty good. I tested it out on other stuff I've done, like they had this punch effect, so I put in a picture of myself. Oh yeah, I didn't even read it, but like, is it this one? Yeah, like what is coming out of my mouth there? It's weird stuff. But anyways, is this potentially what could be used for AI? Could AI be used to help projects that couldn't otherwise be funded? Is this a scar on humanity? I don't know, I'm open to discussion and feedback here. But I was pretty pleased with the results. It really looks like he's on fire. But it wasn't like I was having the full scene replaced by it. It was to enhance what I've already made. And check out this. And so the scene where he's on fire, obviously the shot wasn't matching the dolly movement. So what I did was I masked the shot in the frame. So it's still the same shot. I just put in this guy, matched the dolly movement. Oh, and I put in the mask there too, the fire mask on the picture frame, and just matched the movements. And yeah, pretty stoked on how that turned out. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll tag everybody who helped make this project happen down in the description below. They're truly so talented, super grateful for them. And I'll show you the video on the way out. So see you later.